Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Violent Hippie Podcast. So, today's episode of the Violent Hippie Podcast, we have Matt Jensen, a.k.a. Go Capture It on Instagram. Some of you may know the man, the myth, the legend, the ultra marathoner, 56 years young, just completed the Pony Express 50-mile ultra marathon race, and recently has dropped over 100 pounds using the Smashing Greens. And you're 7 months into your weight loss journey, and you hit the 100-pound mark around month 4, I believe.
I did.
And then, like I said, recently just completed the Pony Express and brought me this awesome trophy. Or this, what would you call this? Not a trophy, but
a memento.
Memento.
You were with me from day one on my journey.
I appreciate it, and you guys can check it out. It's got a guy riding a stallion, and it says Mitch Aguiar making the impossible possible. Very much appreciated. That's gonna go right here. So, so you've been a huge supporter of Massive Supplements, and you've been one of our best success stories. And, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching your progress and, you reaching these new heights and setting these goals and crushing them. And, I think you've been an inspiration to many. And super excited to have you out here and have you on the podcast and, kind of let people hear about your journey. So the floor is yours.
Oh, well, thank you. This is a story that began first week of March of this year. And I'm a commercial driver by trade. And I had a notice mailed to me that said my medical certificate was due to expire the last day of May. And so I thought I'd get it done early. Went in that week when I received it in the mail, thought I'll just get it done and over with. And went in and took my physical. And the doctor was just saying, Matt, you're not looking good. You need to make some serious changes. Your days are numbered. And some of the things that he informed me of is my neck was 22 inches, way too big. He ordered me to take a sleep study based on that alone. And my oxygen level was at 87, extremely low. He asked me if I fall asleep while I drive, and I'm like,
wow,
no.
87?
87.
Man,
and
that is very low. That's dangerous.
It is. And thank goodness I never have got drowsy and fallen asleep while driving. And my heart rate was elevated quite substantially. And I weighed 305 pounds. And the doctor won't certify me. And I'm thinking, oh, gosh, what do I do? And I had driven my entire adult life. Drove cement mixer for 26 years. And, most recently, I've just been driving locally, making deliveries with a box truck and a flatbed and sometimes a tractor trailer. And, I realized that I have to make some adjustments very quick. And just thinking, what do I do? I'm looking at Instagram, scrolling through. I see Mitch Aguiar. Thinking, I know that guy. He's an MMA fighter. I've watched you fight. And out of curiosity, I looked you up on your own page and saw you promoting Smashing Greens. And out of sincere curiosity, I had to look your website up. And I see all these testimonials, people that were successful in losing large amounts of weight. And I thought, if they can do it, I certainly can do it. And given the information that the doctor gave me, I knew I had to be 100% in, or I'm not going to do it at all. And, I've realized that I have lived more days than I have left. That was a scary thought. And so I ordered up the 10-day supply, and I thought, what do I do other than walk? That's all I could do. And, the day I received it, I started walking the boulevard, and going from my house down to the first street south of me was exactly 1 mile. And I'd go down and back in the morning before going to work, and I go in at 4:30 in the morning, and I was committed. I was in 100%, so I was going to do what was required to make this work for me in my favor. I wasn't going to cheat myself. And aside from that, I thought, I can't just throw money out in the wind like that. And so every day in the morning, I'd be out walking, speed walking, fast as I possibly could. And I'd get home in the evening. I wouldn't want to go out and walk, but I forced myself, change out my shoes, put on some shorts. And actually, it's still winter time. Snow on the ground periodically and really cold. I was still out there walking. And, after the first 10 days of doing this first challenge, I was just wowed. This stuff really works.
So how did the challenge go for you? How did your first challenge go?
It was successful. It blew my mind how effective this was. I had dropped 33 pounds in the first 10 days.
And how did I guess, like, do a quick walkthrough from like day 1 through 10? Day 1 was, not bad at all. Wasn't hungry, whatever, whatever your experience was.
Right. Yeah. Day 1, I was very skeptical.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'll drink a shake before I go into work, which was quite early. And it actually gave me a boost of energy. Mm-hmm. I was really impressed. And I'd have another one around noon, and then another one later in the afternoon, and sometimes would have as many as 4. And that was only if I got hungry. Mm-hmm. And the hunger pains never really were lasting. I'd get hungry, and then I'd start thinking about it, thinking, that's just out of habit. Mm-hmm. I want to stop and buy a hamburger at a fast food or at a gas station. And so I was able to overcome that urge those first couple of days. And by day 3, I wasn't having that urge anymore. And the energy that I felt, I hadn't felt in a long time. It was ambitious. It affected my mind. It affected my bones and muscles. I was thinking, I can do more than 2 miles tonight. And you know what blew me away? I was impressed with you, Mitch. When I started posting my photos, me out walking, mm-hmm. and sometimes put a video up, and this would be before anybody's out of bed or late at night when everybody is in bed, I'm out walking. You were the first person to respond. You'd say, you're killing it, dude. Keep at it. Mindset is everything. And nobody ever has fed me this positive stuff before. So I was eating it up. I was thinking, this is great. And it really motivated me. And, as the 10 days went by, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, each day was better than the last. And I was just wowed. I hadn't felt a level of energy ever that I recall prior to that. And it actually started feeling it in my lungs. I felt like I was breathing better and sleeping better. And, I was a big guy, 305 pounds. I was sore all the time. I didn't know when things were wrong. And as time went on, I realized, my gosh, I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling that soreness anymore. I was working muscles that hadn't ever been worked. And, my walking become to I was able to go much quicker and quicker every day, in fact. And I eventually started going up the trail by my house. And there was still snow on the ground. And one day, I believe this was actually before I started my second challenge, I went up to Elephant Rock, and the trail was covered with snow but had been traveled. And from my house to Elephant Rock was 4.5 miles. And I made that trip, and I climbed down on the rock just so I could say I did it. I was so proud of myself. And coming back down, I'd forgotten my headlamp, and it was a trek down the mountain in the dark, and it was frightening. I thought, I hope I don't go over the edge. And somehow I made it, and I felt like I'd climbed Mount Everest. It was the most unreal feeling. And, you know, granted, I hadn't done anything like that for a long time. And laying in bed, I was thinking, my God, I'm sore. This is just wore me out.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah, it was new to me. And, you know, I think my first kit had the BCA and the pre-workout, and I hadn't really given that much of a try yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I read something about, you know, it helps with muscle cramps and soreness. And so I started taking that, and I realized, wow, this stuff really works. And I was so impressed. Everything that I had tried, the protein, and I realized now that I was taking it wrong. I was only just barely using 1 scoop to a drink, and I could have been putting in 2.
Those pesky directions.
Oh, sometimes the small print, my eyes aren't that good. I don't read it very clearly. And it was an eye-opener, though, that, when I was able to have the protein, it was like, man, that was so good. And I did follow the rules to a T. You know, I wasn't going to cheat myself, and I was going to do this with integrity and honesty. And I was dumbfounded. I thought, I'm down 33 pounds in 10 days. And people were starting.
Could you tell a difference?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I felt like I could float. And that's not a lot of weight when you're 300 pounds, but I was noticing it.
Well, I mean, that's 10% of your body.
Yeah. I move a lot of soil and fertilizer and things like that at work. And as I was working one day, I'm picking up a 50-pound bag of feed or fertilizer, soil. I don't remember which it was. I'm thinking, my gosh, that's heavy. I've almost lost that amount of weight. Mm-hmm. And that was with the first challenge. And by the time I had finished the second challenge, I had lost all of that and then some. I'm like, whoa, how did I not know about this sooner? And
because we don't advertise.
I'm so grateful for the day that I took the time out to look up Mitch Aguiar and to research this, because it has been a game changer for me. And I've never looked back, not even once.
That's awesome.
And this is something that has become a lifestyle. And I use the Smashing Greens every single day. And I've gone days without it, waiting for a new shipment to arrive. And I feel like I'm standing naked out in the front of a bunch of people thinking, what am I doing? I need to correct what I'm doing wrong. And it's funny how you become accustomed to doing something 2-3 times a day and then not have it. You're like, what's missing?
Yeah. I always notice a difference when, if I forget to take my greens for some reason or whatever, if I'm traveling, I'm just busy and don't sometimes when you don't have a routine, you can overlook certain things or whatever. And now I'll just be like, man, oh shit, I forgot to take my greens. I'll definitely notice a difference, like in my I feel like a little sluggish or something, just feel off a little bit. And then when I get my greens in me, I'm like, there we go.
Oh, yeah. I've noticed that too.
Yeah.
And, there's only been a few days that I haven't had them. And that was just waiting for a shipment to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little slow in getting something new ordered up. But
you got to subscribe.
Subscribing
is the way to do it.
I'm subscribed now. And, but, before the first challenge had expired, or before I'd finished the 10 days, I had a new shipment ordered. I thought, I'm going to do another one. So 4 days later, I'm starting my second 10 days, the accountability challenge.
So what'd you do in your time between challenges? You didn't pig out on pizza and all that stuff?
Well, the funny thing about that, the first morning, after my final weigh-in, that 11th morning, I thought, I'm going to get a breakfast burrito, steak burrito with eggs and cheese and potato in it. I used to crave those things. They tasted so good to me. Well, that's what I did. I went and bought one, took 2 bites, and it tasted like silicone to me. And I threw it out the window to these dogs that I saw. And I thought, what do I want? I was craving something, but that wasn't it. And so treating myself to a ribeye steak with a couple of cups of broccoli. I was never one to eat broccoli. I don't remember ever eating it before, but I was craving it now. And so that's what I did. I went to the Texas Roadhouse that night. So I basically fasted for 11 days and ate that 11th day evening for the first time since I started my fast. And that tasted so good. And the following day, I thought, well, I can go back to normal eating. And I thought, what do I want to eat? And that next morning, I just bought a banana and an orange. And I was never one to buy a lot of fruit. Rarely did, but that was kind of my routine. I'd have fruit in the morning and maybe a bowl of cereal. And, I realized that the things that I ate before doing the first fast, didn't interest me anymore. And, I was one of those guys that liked the greasy hamburger or, pasta and, this high carb stuff. And so I made the decision that if I'm going to continue doing this fast, I'm going to do some clean eating. I'm going to try. So I started buying salads, with a light dressing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I just eat the lettuce by itself or the spinach. Mm-hmm. And I really love just buying a bag of spinach, rinsing it off at home, and I'd eat it while I'm driving.
Like a bag of chips?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was going down so good. And by this time, I was really noticing the difference. After I started that second challenge, I'll mention now that I was down 51.5 pounds after I ended that second challenge, the accountability challenge. And people around me were noticing, and it wasn't so much the weight, but my countenance had changed. They were seeing a change in my demeanor and my attitude, my outlook, the way I communicated with people. And it's funny when you look yourself in the mirror and you're within your own skin every day, you don't notice the big changes immediately. And the only way that I noticed is putting on one of my old T-shirts, which was a XXX, and realizing, my gosh, it fits like a gunny sack. I have all this room in there now. And that was blowing my mind. Just unbelievable, the changes that I was feeling by trying on old shirts. And even my pant size had started to go down.
So that was after your second fast?
Yes.
And then how long did you wait until you did your third?
I believe I had waited 3 weeks. And I went back to normal eating, and I stayed within the 5 pounds of where I ended my fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very impressed. And one thing I need to add is from day one, the 15th of March, I never let up on my exercise routine. I couldn't afford to take the time to go to a gym, the travel distance, and, dealing with the 50,000 people down at the gym. I didn't want to have to deal with that because I was new and never lifted, and I'd be that idiot trying to figure something out at the gym,
I think that's a weird misconception people have, or embarrassment or something like that, and that'll keep them from going to the gym. But, there's plenty of people at the gym that, when we see unhealthy people there or people who are real overweight in the gym, where, even if they're messing something up or whatever, it's not, you don't get, at least I don't, and no one I know like ridicules those people or anything. It's like, good for them. They're here. They're putting in an effort. They're trying, and I know that if you were to ask any of them, like, hey, for pointers or whatever, any one of them would, happily give you pointers or, and I'm sure they would feel the same way.
Yeah, I think I'd have the confidence to go in there now. Back then, I was still trying to find myself, and my outlook on myself was certainly changing, but I wasn't real positive yet.
Yeah. Then that's another important part too. Is like you didn't want to go to the gym, but a lot of people don't have the access to go to a gym or whatever, and they use that as an excuse. But all you did was walk.
That's all I did.
That's all you did was walk, and you stayed consistent with it.
Would you believe I started using Garmin on the 3rd of April, and I've logged every single mile that I've gone out walking and running. Take a guess where I'm at now. This is including my races.
Maybe close to all your walks included, maybe 1,500, 2,000.
Well, not that high.
No?
But I'm approaching 1,000.
Okay,
I'm
that's
at 947 plus the 50 that I just did on Friday.
So almost 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that just blows my mind. I would never have believed that I'd covered that. My sister lives in Casper, Wyoming, and I remembered figuring the miles from my house to her house. How far was it?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, my gosh, I've run enough miles to go from here to there and back. That was overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only missed 8 or 9 days total that I didn't at least get 2 miles in.
Do you have a set number of steps or miles or distance that you try to get every day?
Well, I have been averaging over 20,000 steps a day. This is including my runs in the evening currently. And
20,000 is a lot for sure.
Yeah, I wonder how many miles total that is, if I was to just walk that distance. But 10 miles of that is part of my running each day. And
well, that's a lot. I mean, a lot of people do not do 10 miles of running a day. That's pretty serious distance.
It is, and people are like, why don't you branch out and go do something different? Well, I found a thing that's working for me. I've got elevation, I've got a shaded trail, and I can go right from home without driving my car anywhere.
Yeah.
And
as soon as you leave your door, you're working.
Yeah. And, from my house up to the trailhead is exactly 1 mile.
And most people hate running.
Oh, running sucks.
That's the punishment for most people,
Don't ever effing stop.
Yeah.
I used to wear a T-shirt to my brother's racers, he's a ultra runner, that says that running sucks. And people are like, dude, you're wearing the wrong shirt to this event. Well, you didn't read the back. The back is where it says don't effing stop.
Nice.
And so I was always amused by wearing that shirt. And
did your brother ever try to get you to run?
Oh, when he run the Pony Express 100 mile, I think the first time I did that with him was 5 years ago. And I would run a couple of miles with him, and then his wife was his car support, carrying his drinks. You can have a car support on that race. And so I'd ride with her for a couple of miles, and I'd get out and run a mile with him. And I thought, wow, I can't believe I did that. You know, even when I was doing my videos out walking when I first began, I listen to them now and I think, man, dude, you were about ready to fall over and die. Listen to you.
Hey, at least you're out there.
Oh, yeah. You know, I thought, this reminds me of my grandfather. After my grandmother died, you know, he was lonely. He missed her and would like to be with her. And so when it come time to mow the lawn, he'd be out there pushing that mower for everything he was worth, hoping he'd just drop dead of a heart attack and die. And all it did was make his heart stronger. Yeah. And I think he lived another 5 years after she passed away, and he passed away at 95. And so that was me. You know, I'm in this 100%, and I'm starting to feel really good. And goals had become very important to me. I'd make my daily goals, and I'd make a monthly goal and where I want to be, you know, in 6 months. And, you know, it's unbelievable to say that in 6 months, I wanted to be prepared to run that Pony Express 50 mile. And so whatever the cost was involved, the time invested in getting ready, I was doing it. I was going to go out religiously and try to get that 10 miles a night. And so I jumped from 2 to 4 miles right to 10. And it soon become commonplace. It's what I did. And, you know, I look back at the beginning. I posted a photo to my Instagram before my race where I was at. I had this big, huge, swollen, fat face. I didn't like the way I looked. And it was embarrassing. You'd be hard-pressed to ever see a picture of me online. I wasn't going to do it. But, and that's a hang-up people have. They have that insecurity that I don't want somebody to see me with this big gut. But, you know, with these challenges, it helps you become accountable. Mm-hmm. And it gives people a chance to see how effective the Smashing Greens is. Yep. And, you know, I say I don't notice a whole lot of the difference looking in the mirror. But when I go back and look at those first photos, I see that big, fat, swollen face. I see that big gut just protruding over my belt line. It's getting smaller and smaller, and my face is becoming narrower and narrower. I'm liking what I see. There
you go.
And I'm not a handsome guy by any means, but I was liking it.
I think you're well deserved in your liking. I mean, it's extremely noticeable. You know, when we look at your day one picture to, you know, your last picture of your last fast, I mean, you look almost like you could fit two of you, you know. In one. You know, one old you. And yeah, I mean, you look incredible compared to what you used to look like. I mean, it's night and day.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, I've done 6 challenges altogether, and people would look at me and they'd say, you're going way too fast. You're losing way too much weight. But I gradually worked up to where I'm at, you know, putting in the miles. And I'm not somebody that has ever quit anything. If I say I'm going to do it, if I say I'm going to be there on time, I'm on time. And it's just who I am. And when this goal to lose this weight was on my shoulders, it was my money that was invested, nobody else's. And it was my determination. It was my goals. Nobody's going to do it for me, and it's not going to just happen. You know, if I just took the Smashing Greens, I probably would have just lost 20 pounds and been happy with it without any of the extracurricular activity, you know, going out walking, throwing heavy bags at work. You know, if I didn't do any of that, you know, I probably would have lost 20, 25 pounds easy. But if you give a little bit of effort, you have a famous saying that has meant a lot to me. Share that with us.
You get what you give, so give more.
That's right. And I can't tell you how many times late at night I'm out there walking in the cold thinking, what am I doing out here? And, you know, I'd watched all of your live streams and, you know, I become familiar with your voice. It's very distinguishable. And I was hearing that in my own head. You get what you give, so give more. And so that really played into my goals. And, you know, everybody here at Massive, just unbelievable. When I started posting my photos, stepping on the scale, in a front view and side view, I thought to myself, who in the world is going to see this? Really? Who'd want to look at this? You know, but...
You got the massive community behind you.
Oh, you know, after day one of my first challenge, the Integrity Challenge, Mitch Aguiar gets on there and makes a comment, you're killing it, dude. I'm thinking, wow, this guy took time out of his day to respond to my photo and my post. I'm thinking, this is incredible. You know, this guy's an MMA fighter, and he took time out for me. You know, it really meant a lot to me. And as I've really got into doing these fasts, I learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself and how the mind works. And your famous, I think you have a trademark on the quote, mindset is everything. Mm-hmm. And you have an ethos over there on the wall that talks about what that is. And I think I had an understanding as to what mindset is. I talked about it in one of my videos the year before, but I didn't understand it. Mm-hmm. Mindset was just something I knew that you could learn to control your own outcome. And I didn't understand it until I met Mitch Aguiar, and hearing you lay it out on the line in one of your live streams one night. I thought, holy cow, wow, that's powerful. And so as time went on with me, I started setting the goals higher and higher and higher. And there was always a bar that I was working to attain or achieve. And I think I've mastered that. You know, I'm skipping ahead a little bit right here, but I've run a few marathons. One was an ultra 31 mile 50K. I did a half marathon, a mountain trail run, and then I did the 50-mile Pony Express race. And during each one of those challenges, I had goals that were already laid out in my mind, things that I needed to face and overcome. And I was new to running. The 50K was my first race, but I had spent countless hours with my good friend Tiffany out in the desert hiking and exploring. So as I'm running this race, there's all these things that are rehashing in my mind. I remember hiking this, and it helped the miles move along. And there were special times in meeting people out there that really became instrumental in my own personal progress. You know, people that would give me some positive info, things that would help a person in such a surrounding, being out in the desert. People die out there every day. Mm-hmm. And it was something I was familiar with, being out there by myself. And my kids would get so upset, Dad, you need to let somebody know where you're going. And so I'd committed to them to finally let them know. But, you know, running this first race, I remember looking at a mountain range thinking, oh, my goodness, I got to go clear out there, and that's where the turnaround point is. the halfway mark, the checkpoint. Oh, God, give me strength, And when things really started to weigh heavily on my shoulders and my feet were terribly blistered, each of my heels had blisters all the way around, and my toes had blisters. I had the wrong pair of shoes. And anyway, I get to the checkpoint, and I'm on my way back, and I just wanted to be done. I was in so much pain. My feet hurt, and I got to another checkpoint where there was 10 miles remaining, and I thought to myself, I ought to just get a ride with them back to the finish line. I can't do this. And I remember looking across the salt flat to where the finish line was. It was clear as day. There's all these cars, and that's where I got to go. Heck, I can do that. That mindset started to kick in, and whatever was weighing me down, I think everybody has demons in their head that just start breaking you down, telling you can't do this. They want you to quit.
Yeah, it's comfort, looking to be nourished.
That's right.
So it tells you all these little lies.
Yeah.
Tries to negotiate with you and get you to quit and satiate its desires for comfort.
It's overbearing. I remember I heard your voice, don't be a pussy.
Yeah.
And I thought,
I've heard my voice say that many times to myself.
Yeah, it's powerful. I've never been a quitter, and I thought, I'm not going to give up on myself. I can deal with this pain. You said pain is temporary, but pride is forever. And I could see myself crossing that finish line at that point. Whatever I had to deal with, I was going to take it on. And it got to the point where that pain become a comfort zone. I knew by another quote that you shared, if you're not feeling the soreness and pain, you're doing it wrong. It was something to that effect. And so I started to appreciate this pain, thinking, I earned it. It's mine. Nobody can understand what that feels like but me. And it became my burden. I was going to carry it with me all the way to the finish line. And I remember finally getting back to pavement, getting off the dirt road, thinking I've only got 5 miles left to go. That's all I've got, 5 miles. And I'd run little spurts, a couple 100 yards, and then I'd walk a little bit. And I'm starting to come to life and thinking, I'm going to do it. It's right there. I can see it. And, you introduced me to a friend of yours, Justina, and she passed me she was ultimately 6 miles ahead of me when she passed me a second time. I'm thinking, my God, that girl's fast.
Yeah, she can run.
Oh, she can run fast. And
yeah, she was a collegiate soccer player.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she did soccer and track.
She's an outstanding athlete.
Yep.
She just narrowly missed qualifying for the Boston Marathon during the Salt Lake Marathon.
Well, she's definitely into a whole lot of running now, so I'm sure she'll crush it next year.
Oh, she will. I wouldn't be surprised if she finds a race to qualify this year. But, she...
Shout out to Just Ranina on Instagram, I believe is her new Instagram name.
Yes.
Just Ranina or something.
I saw that. I thought, who's it? Oh, yes, I know her.
Bula Justina.
But, motivators come and go. We fill those, and we fill their words of inspiration. We see their actions. A lot of people can have that, but then they fall away and quit doing it themselves. And so you can constantly replace those motivators. And what Justina has become to me is an inspiration. Those are those people that set the bar high, and they're set in stone. They do it repeatedly. They soon become living it. They kind of become a legend in your own mind. I'd like to be like that person. They never waver. That's what you are to me, Mitch. And, what I've learned in watching you and seeing what you're capable of, the element of man that you've become, it's powerful. I look at you and I think, I want to be like that. Obviously, I can't have the same experience, but I can become my best self following your pattern, the things that you lay out, believing that I'm capable of achieving. And from day one, you're killing it, dude. Mindset is everything. And I took that stuff very personal. It became who I was, and I thought, I'm not a pussy and I'm not a quitter. I'm going to give it everything I got. I didn't want to let myself down, let alone let Mitch Aguiar down. And the many motivators that you have selected, and there's so many others.
Well, oftentimes I think it's easy for people to let themselves down. A lot of people get comfortable letting themselves down or used to it or whatever. It's you are with you your entire life, So and nobody's perfect, and we are going to occasionally fail and not live up to our own expectations, et cetera, whatever. So essentially letting ourselves down. And, that it's not the end of the world. You get over it, whatever. So it can be easy sometimes to justify it or allow it to happen. But you definitely, it hits different when you let someone else down, or when you don't kind of, like when you say you're going to do something, people are believing in you, and then you let them down. That kind of holds a little different weight for some reason, I feel, psychologically. And that's, like I said, that's a big part of why I have people post online, with the integrity and accountability and elite challenges, is, that pressure of accountability, of wanting to, not let people down and finish what you start, say what you do,
That's right. I know exactly what you're saying.
Do what you say. Sorry, dyslexic.
Yes, I follow what you're saying. In fact, as I progressed through each one of these challenges, all 6 of them, I started getting direct messages from people that had seen one of your podcasts. They'd seen my photo on Massive's website or Instagram, and they're thinking, wow, this guy's something. And he's still going. He's pushing himself. He's really going hard. Look at this. He ran a 50K, and he did a half marathon and then a 50 mile. I mean, these people have started looking to me and asking me questions just like I did to you. Mm-hmm. And, it really branches out the amount of people that you affect and motivate to get healthy. And that's an impressive thought. I mean, it goes through my mind, and I'm just wowed. I have no idea how many people have seen me and my progress.
And what have they decided to do from seeing you and your progress? And what progress have they made? That they would have had not have, or they would not have initiated that spark or change or whatever, without seeing you and without getting that inspiration from you. And then, there's probably someone out there that we don't even know that has had an awesome transformation as well, and they've maybe done it in private. There's been so many people that have sent me pictures of them that have lost, 80 pounds or something, and they didn't do any of the public stuff. They did it all on their own because of whatever reasons or whatever. And, they'll just reach out to me. Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm down 80 pounds, blah, blah, blah. Like, thanks for your inspiration. It's like, what? Where have you been? Like, you know what I mean?
I know it.
And so I'm sure that there are those out there, that you've inspired in that same manner. And the cool thing is, it's like a ripple effect. And how the really cool thing about serious weight loss is everyone in your life, when they see you, that's immediate, talking point. It's an immediate, like, something has to be addressed, like when you see someone that you haven't seen in a year and you're down 100 pounds, it's like an instant, wow, holy moly, like little praising you or whatever. And, and it should inspire them to like maybe like look at themselves. Well, what could I do? Like he can do it. He did it. He's bettering himself. Like maybe it inspires them to better themselves. Maybe not in weight loss, but something else.
Right.
And the different ripples and branches that can go in multiple directions. And the kind of impact that it can have on the world is crazy when you think about how many people are doing it.
That's right. There was the 13-day challenge you invited me to join, and others within the community, massive community, participated.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Vanilla Gorilla that come up with the idea, and I thought, yes, got to do that. The 13-day fast. And I thought, what else can I do to contribute to their memory? I need to do something for me that will be heartfelt and meaningful. And so I took it on myself to put in 10 miles a day running to Elephant Rock, 13 consecutive days.
While fasting.
Yes, while fasting. And that's a total of 130 miles round trip total. And that was the hardest thing that I had laid out in my plan to accomplish.
Yeah, that's a serious push right there.
I remember
the 13-day fast. That was, that was a serious push in itself. For me, even I had the previous to that, I had only done 12 days. When I do my 12 days till Christmas fast every year, and up until that point, that was the longest I'd fasted. So, granted, it's only one more day, but it was still. It's still 13 days. That's a long time to go without food, and and it's a commitment. And I found out about it 30 minutes before the night before, I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm fasting for the next 13 days. So, but yeah, to add on top of that, running 10 miles every day, that's a serious push. The important thing about participating in this fast, we all did it. We selected one service member that was killed in that explosion at the airport in Kabul, Afghanistan. And the purpose to honor every day.
Honor every single day. Mm-hmm. And I will never forget them. Tugs at my heartstrings. But it became so meaningful to me to do that. It actually gave me strength and endurance and appreciation for who they were. They sacrificed everything.
Mm-hmm.
They were there helping innocent children and women and children and men that were trying to flee because of the circumstance. They wanted to be free and not surrender to.
And when you really think about, the gravity of that and the reality of that, it really helps make your pain or, bullshit that you're dealing with, seem irrelevant.
Very much.
In comparison, just I can suck it up. I can keep going. I can,
mm-hmm.
endure.
On the plane from Chicago to Norfolk coming here this trip, I sat right next to a Marine's wife. He was disabled in Afghanistan. Never be the same. And when I learned about her story, I shared my story, what I did. And it's a sensitive, touching issue for me because it become something more to never forget them. And to share that story with a Marine's wife it meant something to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she cried, and I remember having a tear hearing her story. But I have no shame in sharing that with you and getting emotional, because it's a human life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brother and a sister, you know. And it could happen to any one of our families. And, you know, I know you've seen things in your life where you wish you could change them. I wish I could, but what's done is done. And all you can do is contribute and try to help the situation become better.
Mm-hmm.
And so this journey that I've been on from March 15th, I've gone through every emotion you could possibly go through. And it's been times of darkness where I feel like, you know, is it worth it? Am I worth it? My kids think so. And I started to believe in myself and dig out of that hole and apply myself. And I'm so grateful to you, Mitch. You never gave up on me. And I know you and others keep telling me I did all the work, but you laid the foundation.
Yeah, but, you know, you didn't give up on yourself. So, you know, I had no reason to give up on you.
Yeah, thank you. It's, you know, I look at what I've been able to accomplish up to this point, and I'm just wowed. I was always a dreamer, never a doer. I'd try, but always let myself down. And you can have wild dreams and see yourself in your own mind being successful and accomplishing incredible feats, but that just wasn't me. It wasn't happening. I'd try, and I'd let myself down, or I'd fall down and come up short.
You weren't giving consistent effort.
That's part of it. The other part was having the right tools, and smashing greens was that for me. And also the other thing was understanding what mindset is and moving forward with that and continually making goals for yourself.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that about these smashing greens fast, I tell people this, don't think of this as a weight loss challenge. It's not a weight loss challenge. It's a mental toughness challenge, because, you know, weight loss is just a byproduct. I promise you that when you do these smashing greens fasts, you know, it's not even a traditional fast, in the sense you're not depriving yourself of nutrients. You're saturating yourself with an abundance of organic, nutrient-dense superfoods. You know, you're getting plenty of nutrients. You're going to feel fine. You're going to feel great, actually. But mentally, it's going to be a serious challenge, because there's nothing in our world that is more tempting and plentiful than food, especially in America. You know, we're one of the fattest countries on earth, and everywhere you go, your entire world revolves around food. Not just you, not me, everybody. You know, we're a smart species. You know, that's debatable sometimes, but you know, we've been able to manipulate the food chain, and we just can get food whenever we want, effortlessly. You know, I could literally just sit here and order food to be delivered right to me, and not have to expend any energy or anything like that, you know. And food is a drug. You know, people don't look at it that way because it's something that we need to survive, but we don't need it in the sense that how we do it. We abuse food, you know, and we treat it like a drug, and that we get pleasure from. People eat out of habit, out of boredom, you know, to when they're feeling depressed or feeling sad about something or whatever. You know, people use food for all kinds of ways that aren't what they're what food is actually for. Food is a delivery of nutrients. That's all it is, but we abuse it, and we're all addicted to it. And it's just in our culture, every social event, there's food, alcohol, and it's just a constant, So when you remove that constant from your life for 10 days, it's going to be abundantly clear, that's been removed, and you are going to be tempted tremendously. And when you can overcome that, for 10 days, then you can display that sort of mental toughness and, discipline. Then you can apply that to anything in your life. And that's why I say that these challenges are a mental toughness challenge. Weight loss is just a byproduct, because all weight loss is just a calorie deficit. You're just burning more calories than you're taking in. That is weight loss. It's not rocket science.
Right.
So you of course, you are going to lose weight. And there is a weight loss component to the challenges, because I've done these fucking challenges. I made these challenges. I did them, I've done them enough to know how they work. And, that's why I do the integrity checks, like with the daily weigh-ins, to show that you're continually losing weight every day. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not taking in, if you're taking in a max of 300-400 calories with the protein shakes, the greens, and the BCAAs, all that, and an average person, and you have to work out every day on the fast, whether it's even a 30-minute walk, you're going to burn more than you're taking in. You're going to lose weight every day. And, and the 15-pound mark, I lose that, and I have abs, so I don't want to hear it when these people who are fucking fat tell me, oh yeah, I only lost 6 pounds. Bullshit. You fucking ate food.
Yeah.
Or they go to do it's their fourth day, and they go to do a weigh-in, and they're 3 pounds heavier. I don't know what happened. I do.
Yeah. Having done 6 of these challenges, there was one challenge where I was only losing 2 ounces. And I thought, what is going on? I was taking creatine with it.
You're retaining water.
I was retaining water, and I asked you, is this possible? So I quit taking it. And I started losing weight again.
Yeah. Well, water has a physical weight to it, mm-hmm. And, but I mean, even when you're drinking a lot of water, I mean, you can drink as much water as you want on the fast. You're going to piss a lot too,
That's right.
And, water has a weight to it or whatever. And that's what I always crack up when people say, oh, it's just water weight. You're just losing water weight.
Right.
Well, I'm like, drink as much fucking water as you want.
Yeah. All right.
You're going to continually lose weight. And I encourage you, drink a gallon a day.
What's amazing is the feeling that I had upon each completion of each challenge. It was like a total reset of my whole system. I felt like I could float.
Oh, yeah.
And
day 10 of the fast is such a great feeling.
Oh.
But it's hard to get to, it's a sacrifice to get there. But, and it sucks because you're like, man, I miss eating food, like the enjoyment that comes with food, because it does. It gives you dopamine. It's,
mm-hmm.
releases serotonin just like a drug,
Yep.
And it gives you pleasure. It's a socialization thing. Eating food is a good time,
Yeah, it
and
is.
It's a lot of people's favorite thing to do. But on day 10 of the fast, man, you just feel like Superman, like you could just run through walls. But you do want to eat food, just out of habit. But that like once you go down the food route again, you're gonna lose this Superman feeling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I didn't mention. After my 3rd challenge, the Elite Masters Challenge, I was facing Memorial Weekend. I had the last day of May to renew my medical certificate. And by this time, by the end of that challenge, I was down 72, almost 73 pounds. Maybe it was 73, I don't remember. But there was a transformation that had taken place in my life since I initially went in and took that first test, and the doctor says, no way. I can't certify you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back into the doctor. I wasn't recognized. I looked like a whole different person. I had a narrow face, short haircut. My neck size was substantially smaller. My weight was certainly not there.
Mm-hmm.
And my blood pressure had fallen down to a normal range. My oxygen level, I think at that time, was 95. So it had skyrocketed from where the low 87 where I tested initially. And went through all the tests, urine test, and, well, sir, you have a little blood in your urine. I said, well, I'm aware of that. I punctured my kidney. And, that is almost gone now. And it is now, I'm sure. But when I went in, he alerted me that there's a little blood. And I didn't elaborate on it. And I said, well, I'll get a follow-up. I'll check on it in 3 months, which I did at a different clinic. And I took my certificate down to UDOT, turned it in, got my record medical certificate certified and on my driver's license. And I'm like, I did it. It was the greatest feeling in the world to think in that short amount of time, I'd transformed my health. I wasn't just breathing, gasping for air, walking up the flight of stairs where I was at when I started. I was running up the trail, up the mountain, and I wasn't breathing as hard. I still had a little raspiness to my voice, but I think that's entirely gone now. I don't get winded. I don't get tired. I feel like an oiled machine. I can just go and go and go. And the change that I have encountered with myself, I believe anybody can achieve that. Mm-hmm. Just decide that you're going to do it and don't ever waver, and stay consistent. Set some goals to work towards, and you'll fall short. I did numerous times. I fell on my face, and but you always get up and give it hell. Go for it. Keep going. And I was never an athletic person. I'm not a runner. I'm not fast, but I had achieved every goal that I have set for myself so far. In fact, prior to this race, the 50-mile endurance run, I had never done anything like this before. I've attempted to do the 50 miles, but I wasn't a runner. I wasn't running at all. I was just basically out walking, jogging a little bit, because I was 300 pounds. It hurt my feet, hurt my knees. And so with all this preparation, running up to Elephant Rock, up the canyon every day, I'm king of the mountain on Strava. Nobody's run up there as many times as I have. And the scenery never gets old. They say, how can you do that? That's boring. No, not when you're focused and have some place you want to be. I set some goals, and there's nothing that's going to make me waver. I'm going to get there. And prior to the race, I remember you telling me you're going to have some emotions. You're going to hear voices in your head. You're going to want to quit. Your feet's going to hurt. Your legs are going to become sore. You're going to experience things you've never felt before. You weren't lying.
Yeah. I've been there, done that. I knew it.
It's unbelievable. I mean, out of the starting line, I started running, and I was in the thick of it. And pretty soon, I realized I'd left everybody behind. I was way out in front. I thought, maybe I'm running too hard. Maybe I'm going too fast. But I was feeling good. And I had set a goal to reach a particular point at Simpson Springs at the time the sun breaks the horizon and the sun comes up. And I did that. And that was 16.4 miles of just straight dirt road, with little whoop-de-doo hills, nothing real steep. But I remember I got this goal. I got to keep going, Matt. You can do it. And when I run down the hill, to the aid station, I looked at my watch and I thought, wow, 4:04. That's not bad. I think up to that point I was doing 12-minute miles, and which isn't extremely fast, but to consider you're going 50, that was a good speed to be maintaining. And prior to arriving there, some of the 100-milers started to pass me, and some of the faster 50-milers that probably started a half hour after me were starting to catch up. And so anyway, the 4:04 was a powerful number. That's exactly the time that I finished the Elephant Rock half marathon in. And I tried my best on that race, and that was, just over, I think it was 13.83 miles on that half marathon. And to think that I'd done over 16 in that same amount of time, I was like, wow, I'm moving. I'm going to meet my goal. And I had my good friend Tiffany that kept saying, Matt, you're going hard. Maybe you ought to slow down a bit. Pace yourself. I thought, no, I'm feeling good. I'm going to go strong until I can't go anymore, and then I can walk a little bit. And so after checking in at the aid station, I got Tiffany cooked up some cup of noodles, and I got violently ill. Everything I took into my body erupted right out of me. I was throwing up and never let up until the finish line. And my friend Chris Knowles, that was out there taking photos of me, gave me some jerky, and I thought, oh, maybe this is perfect. And that was coming up. I couldn't hold anything down. And I got to the 32-mile mark. I did a 50K, and I looked at my watch, and I thought, this can't be right. No way. I had shaved off 3.5 hours of my 50K time from the salt flats.
That's awesome.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And
lay down, take a nap.
Yeah. And, I was throwing up violently from that point on. And we were nearing Dugway Pass, and my brother had arrived. He was a welcome sight. He's a trail runner. He'd run that 100 miles before it and the 50 miles and done numerous races. He was always my idol, somebody I looked up to and thought I'd like to do that with him. And Tiffany too. She's done these long races.
How old's your brother?
He's I think he's 42 this year. I could be wrong, but he's quite a bit younger than me. I'm 56, and but he's a great young man and very focused and always been goal oriented. And his wish was that, Matt, I wish you could do this with me. And, I'd look in the mirror and I'm thinking, is it possible? Can I get to the point where I can run one of these with him? And, so when he arrived, he was such a welcome sight. He was going to stick with me the final 20 miles. And so as we're approaching Dugway Pass, it's a 2-mile elevation of, I think it's 3,000 feet that we climbed. Just violently throwing up, getting weak, and I had voices in my head to just bow out, be done with it. And I kept plugging away, kept moving forward. And when we finally made the summit at Dugway Pass, I thought, I'm going to try running down. And so I'd run a couple 100 yards, and I was starting to come to life again. I started feeling the strength because I looked out in the distance, and I could see the finish line. And my brother's trying to motivate me, come on, Matt, let's run. And I just hadn't regained my strength. I was just battling stuff in my head. And I told him to leave me alone for a short time. And I hope I didn't offend him. I think he understands what I was going through because he's faced it before. But I just needed that time to gather my thoughts. And so as I'm walking, I'm hearing Mitch Aguiar's voice in my head. You can do it. It's mindset. And I'm thinking, yeah, he's right. I got to get my mind focused. And I remembered standing upright, stretching my back a little bit, looking out into the distance, and I saw my target. I saw where I needed to be. And this was no longer a race about, with anybody that was on the course. It was my own. And it was mine to finish, and it was on me to get there. No matter what anybody said or anything anybody wanted to do to try and help me, it was mine. I had to carry that burden. And I pretty well lost everything out of my stomach at that point. I was dry heaving, and it become painful. It was hurting in my chest, and I was cramping up in my legs and my lower back. And it was an amazing transformation at that point when I started to gather my thoughts and I joined my brother again. I realized I'm going to do it. I'm going to get there. Whatever costs, I'm going to just keep moving forward. And there were times where I just started to sprint down the hill, and it felt good. I started to appreciate that pain I was feeling. And my legs were on fire. Man, they burned.
I believe it.
And my feet were fine. I didn't get a single blister.
Oh, that's good.
And so I selected the right shoe this time around, and that made all the difference. And, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to where I'm to the final 300 yards or so. And Tiffany joined me, parked the car, and was running with me. There was an out and back. I think it was just shy of a mile going out past the finish line, and then you turn around. You grab a sticker and put it on your number so they know you actually went there. Mm-hmm. And so I just started to bolt and run, leaving her. My brother stayed with me, and started running. And I get to the turnaround point, and Andrew, my brother, says, I think you can do it. You got 7 minutes to cross that finish line to get 16:20. I says, okay, well, you go out ahead of me, and you get the photo finish. Please get my photo crossing that line. And I remembered lifting my shorts up and stretching a bit, and I thought, I'm giving it hell. I'm going to go for it. And I think that was the fastest and hardest I'd run through ever, actually. And I gave it everything I had. And to cross that finish line, people have told me, once you cross that line, you just feel like that whole burden of whatever you were feeling is lifted from you. And I felt that. And I remember the jubilation, the joy that I felt. And to have Tiffany and my brother right there with me, and my friend Marlene put the medal around my neck, and I thought, I did it. Mm-hmm. And that was my goal. I wanted to notify you. You were the first person I sent that notice out to. I didn't have reception, so obviously it didn't come for a couple hours later or 3 hours later, but I did it. Mm-hmm. And it was powerful. And I didn't let myself down. I didn't let those people that believed in me down. I succeeded. And it was the most intense thing that I have ever overcome or faced in my entire life. The cycle of emotions that went through my head, my body, the soreness, and everything I encountered was, at this point, I wish I was back out there. I want to feel that some more because it did something to me. It changed me. It made me better, and it made me stronger. And I realized, really, what am I not capable of achieving at this point?
Yep. Anything you set your mind to.
That's right.
Mindset is everything.
Mindset is everything. And anybody that's maybe viewing this podcast, and stuck with us this length of time, I believed in myself. And I went out and did it. And I believe you can do it. I'm happy to be there for you and to give you some motivation, and maybe I can even inspire you by my story. This has been powerful for me. I look back at my journey. It's only been 7 months. It was 7 months to the day that I run 50 miles that I started my diet. And that's not a lot of time.
Nope.
And, you know, the transformation, not only physically and my weight, but what went on in my head psychologically.
Can you imagine standing next to March 15th you?
Oh, you know.
Today?
Oh, I tell you.
October 20th you versus standing next to March 15th you.
You know, just working out outside today, the challenge that we did as a massive team, that was so much fun. I thought, man, can I do this? Farmer carries, you know, I think I had the 35-pound bells or
center mass bells. Yeah.
Yes. And I remember kind of running with them and turning around and coming back, and I thought, oh, they're slipping. I can't give up. I got to keep going. Mm-hmm. And I made it, and then you had to keep holding those bells till everybody had done their down and back. And I thought, wow, that was almost 20 minutes of holding 35 pounds in each hand. Mm-hmm. Wow, I did it. Yep. You know, that was exciting. And it was meaningful because I look at where I was at on the 15th of March, and it's embarrassing to say where I was, that I'd let myself get to that point. But I tell you what, from that day on, I never looked back. I just kept trying and trying and trying, and I failed along the way. And that always made me get up and try harder. And it's powerful. You know, spiritually, something happened in my head, the way I felt. My whole countenance changed. I look in the mirror and I like what I see now. And I'm a whole different person. I've lost a person.
Yeah.
And, you know, I keep telling you, I can't thank Mitch Aguiar enough. You know, look what you designed and you built. You laid this foundation for others to follow, and you're out there leading the way. And now at this point, I think I've done it. I can help lead the way now.
Yep.
You know, it's an amazing process, and anybody can do it. Anybody. I don't care how heavy you are. You can do it. It's promising.
I think you're going to inspire a lot of people.
I hope so.
And I don't think your journey's over, you know. And I know that, you know, your new chapter is hasn't even begun yet.
It hasn't.
You know, and we can announce that, you know, you're going to be joining Team Massive here, and joining our team full time, moving from Utah to Virginia in January.
This is exciting. You know, I've spent a few days here with everybody, Cass and you and Kyle and a couple other people that had come and gone, and even Shannon. And, you know, the amount of energy, the vibe, it's felt. Everybody's so positive and supports one another. I thought, I got to be a part of this. And when you invited me to join the team, initially you were on the top of Kauai, up on a mountain somewhere, hiking. And you called me when I'd lost my 100 pounds, and says, I hope, you know, in the future you'll want to become part of the family and join our team. That was always cycling through my head. Oh, and I need to add, during that race, that come to mind. I thought, if I don't finish this, I'm out.
Basically.
And there's no way in hell I'm going to allow that to happen.
Yep.
Because this has changed my life. It become a lifestyle, and it's a lifestyle I want to share with somebody else. And if I would have failed out there, I would never have seen a way to step through this door, I probably wouldn't even be here today doing a live podcast or a podcast with Mitch Aguiar.
Yep, but you stuck it out, and, and the pain, it's temporary.
Yeah, you told me that. You said pain is temporary and pride is forever. That was going through my head. And that's when I started to appreciate it. I thought I earned it. And hearing your story about the Spartan March, the 240-mile trek that you did, and how you faced all those same emotions and just wanted to quit. And then you thought, if I don't finish this, people are going to leave me. My business isn't going to go forward.
Yeah, I mean, I got to that point. I didn't prepare for that at all. I just went and did it. It was 240 miles in 8 days. Basically an ultra marathon every day for 8 days in a row.
Yeah,
and all through mountainous Greece and summer, hot as shit.
Oh,
and
unbearable.
And I just totally didn't give it any respect that I should have, in preparation or anything, and I'll just do it. And whew, man, that was the most humbling experience I've ever had. And when I was on day 4 and I was like just physically broken, and I was just like, man, I don't think I can go another mile, let alone another 120 miles, what the fuck am I going to do? And just thinking about at the time, I just started Massive really. And, my motto is mindset is everything and don't be a pussy.
That's right. This is one of those.
I'm a Navy SEAL, like retracing the steps of the Spartans, and I'm like feeling like I'm going to quit, or have to quit. I'll be a complete fucking fraud. Nothing about me will be credible anymore,
And look at that tattoo on your thigh there.
Yeah.
That's meaningful. When I asked you what those were, I didn't see real clearly what they were. I asked, are those arrowheads? And you told me the story of what the meaning was.
Yeah. I
thought, that's powerful.
Yeah. And, the thought of that becoming a reality, it was just so painful, more painful than any physical pain I was feeling. And I knew that would have lasted a lifetime.
Yep.
And, this physical pain I'm feeling right now is temporary. It will go away. Maybe might suck for a week, but eventually I'll be fine, But that lingering pain from quitting and, you know what I mean? Like just failing like that, and that would last a lifetime.
Yeah.
There's no shaking that. And,
there's nothing wrong with falling down, but always get up again and keep going.
Yeah.
And hearing your story about the Spartans and retracing their steps, Mitch Aguiar's, in a lot of people's eyes, you're superhuman, Navy SEAL, MMA fighter, but you're human, just like everybody else.
For sure. And that's why I say mindset is everything. That's why I say the things I say, because I know that I'm not a superhuman. I know that I'm not special. I'm not anything. I'm just a regular guy that has given a lot of effort. And, anybody can do that. And at one point I was overweight. I was 225 pounds of softness, just from drinking a lot and not working out or whatever. And, and then anybody can get dedicated. Anybody can put in effort to things, and it's just doing that consistently, for an extended period of time, and you're going to cover some serious distance,
That's right.
And you need to kind of look at it just one thing at a time. If today you walked up to March 15th and said, hey, you're going to have to run 1,000 miles. You're going to have to put in 1,000 miles or whatever, or you're going to do that by month 7. You'd probably scare yourself away.
Oh, that's a thought that I never thought I'd be facing.
Right.
I thought, thank goodness I started to use Strava, and it's actually documented. It shows what I did.
But you started one, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You started taking one bite at a time, 1 mile at a time, going for a walk down and back, down and back, down and back. But like you said, you've been on this journey for 7 months now.
People look at me.
You've taken 8 or 9 days off. But so, for that whole time, that's a lot of days putting in miles, logging those miles. They add up.
They do. The thing that was so fun is people would say, "You're still working on that? You're still pushing? You're still out there walking? I see your posts online." Why? I'm being accountable. It helps lay out a journal for myself. I can look back and think, wow, look how far you come. If you don't write things down, you forget them eventually. And everything I've done is documented. It's right there. And I can go back and think, wow, this is so powerful. I've done damn near 1,000 miles. How many ultra runners have actually done that? Let's say from April 3rd to the date today, that isn't even a full year. That's a lot of miles. Yep. That's almost coming to Virginia. Not quite, but quite a distance.
So now you're going to be representing Team Massive at these future races, and we're going to help you reach your goals, and beyond. And you're going to be obviously, walking testimony to the greens, and you're going to be massive sponsored athlete running in these races.
That is so exciting. I mean,
you've literally created a whole new life for yourself.
That just blows my mind. If I was
and
to
get paid to do it
7 months ago, to be a health and fitness icon or athlete, I'm thinking there's no way. Not me. That ain't me. But one step at a time, and always taking one step in front of the other.
And now the other thing too is, you're not around, I would say, a ton of people that are pushing themselves, and you know what I mean? And you a lot of times people are a product of their environment. When you have a bunch of people around you, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You don't need to do that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you already look great, da, 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 blah, 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 blah. But here at Massive, it's a different kind of party. Everybody's pushing themselves. Everybody, and the reason is because everyone that is here has been hand selected. We don't fucking hire people off their resume that got submitted on hireme.com or whatever the fuck.
The thing that really impacted me right off the start, day one, when I slept here in the office, I chose to. You wanted to go get me a nice hotel room. No, I want to be here. I'm enjoying this energy. It lingers. It's here. I feel it. And one morning comes and Kyle and Cassie show up, and you showed up early that first morning. And we all went outside and worked out for an hour, thinking, wow, this is crazy. Who does this? Yeah. Well, Team Massive does every day.
Everybody gets paid to work out here.
Yeah. And I've only worked on my legs, on these last couple of days I've done upper body workouts, and I'm so sore. I'm feeling it, and I'm feeling good. It was earned. And, to think that I can be around this environment to better myself and to help other people along at the same time, that's incredible.
It's a win-win.
You asked me the other day, did you ever see yourself here? No. I was always a dreamer, and dreams are often forgotten. You forget them before you wake up. And I've started seeing myself doing these incredible things with my eyes wide open, and I'm doing them. And so
visualization.
Yes,
it's a real thing.
It is. And
put that energy out into the universe and like, say your goals out loud, say them to yourself, tell yourself that you are going to achieve them. And, it's not just, oh man, I want a Lamborghini or whatever, and don't do shit about it to obtain it. You have to make sure that your actions match your ambitions.
That's right. The crazy thing about this journey is so many people have latched on and gone with me and boosted me up. It's been an amazing feeling. And part of the reason why I've held myself accountable by doing a daily post is that does boost me. It carries me through the next day. What am I going to do for a challenge today? And because so many people have come on my journey with me, and what's going to happen if I just fall away? What are they going to think of me? Oh, he was just a has-been, he made his presence
15
known.
15 minutes of fame.
15 minutes of fame, and he fell away, just like so many others. That's not me.
You're here to stay.
I'm going to stay. And, it comes back to the giving thanks once again. Mitch Aguiar, you've changed my life. And I know what your response is, but you laid the foundation work. You've shown the way. You've done it. You've done it numerous times. And, that's the important thing for me that I want other people to know is they are capable of doing this. It's hard. It's probably the hardest thing you'll ever face.
But it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Look at that little figurine, bronze figure I gave you. It says, Mitch Aguiar, making the impossible possible. That's what it meant to me. That's why I selected those words to have engraved on there. It means something. And the reason I picked a Pony Express rider is that was my ultimate goal, to complete that 50-mile race. And it wasn't against anybody else. It was me. And I won.
Yeah. Kicked ass.
Yeah. It's an amazing feeling. And, to tell people what that feels like, you can find out for yourself. Mm-hmm. You really can.
Yep. So what's next?
Well, one of your other motivators, I think he's one of your athletes, isn't he? Welch?
Eric Welch, yep.
Yep. I saw a post. I haven't found where he posted it yet. I've had probably 2,000 people leave comments, and I'm trying to catch up and answer everybody. And I promise that I will. It's just been a lot of responses. And anyway, that was his question. What's next? And, the possibilities are endless. I've determined that I'm going to do another 50-mile in the spring, the Salt Flats 50-mile. And I think by then my friend Tiffany, her knee will be healed up, and she just had some artificial work done on her knee. And that'll last her hopefully another 5-6 years before she needs a total knee replacement. But she's been my best friend, my best motivator. Aside from my brother's been my inspiration. He's laid the groundwork. He's shown us possible, and I've seen him go through the highs and lows, and it's something that I wished I could feel, to be out there and to go through those emotions. You shared it with me, and it's life-changing. And now, having been there and felt that, man, it is, the feeling is so powerful. I mean, to think that I put myself through hell and come out on top, come back into the light. I mean, I had the biggest smile when I crossed that finish line.
And instills confidence.
Oh, that guy that
and now the next one you go on, you can reach back and you use those, you can pull on them, when you need it. Like, hey, I've been here before.
Yeah,
I've done this. Let's go.
This guy isn't that quiet guy that sat in the back corner of the room.
I'm sure you felt that today, holding those those center mass spells during that workout. You know,
man.
you think about all of the times that you've suffered and you've put in work, and you know, hey, I just did the Pony Express 50 miles. You know, this ain't shit. You know,
I was feeling it.
You can pump yourself up like that. You know, talk like that to yourself, and it's real. And
it is.
You know, and that's not false. You know, false motivation bullshit. That's real. You know, I just did the Pony Express 50 miler, you know, on Friday or whatever. Like, this ain't shit.
Yeah.
That's not blowing smoke. That's real talk.
Yeah. It was real. I was feeling it. And I remember doing the down and back thinking, oh, it's slipping. My left hand isn't as strong as my right. And it was just hanging on by the fingertips. And I made it. And once I stopped running, I was able to heave it up and grab it again and keep a firm hold. And, you know, holding 35 pounds, it's not heavy, but after holding it for 20 minutes, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
I think you had the 53 pounders. And, you know, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
To hold that long, I think the down and back was 75 yards one way?
75 yards one way, so yeah, about 150.
Yeah. I would never have seen myself doing that 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
It just wasn't going to happen.
Well, you were carrying 100 extra pounds everywhere you went.
You know, that reality hit me. And to think, you know, I picked up those 53 pounders and did that down and back yesterday with the team. And I got thinking, holy cow. That's how much weight I lost, and then some. I think I dropped down to 110 pounds at one point, and when I went back to normal eating, I gained a little bit. And, you know, I've been taking creatine, building my muscles, and working hard. It's not fat that's going back on my body. I've built some muscle back. And, you know, it's such a wonderful feeling. You know, where am I going to be in 6 months? You know, I'm not going to let up. It just isn't going to happen.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a cool. I think we should do a picture on March 15th of 2022.
Yeah,
and do a comparison.
Oh, you know, I did a comparison with the first week of March. I had a big orange shirt on. I had my Camelback on, and this big fat, puffy looking face and this gut that almost filled the shirt. I mean, it was just bulging. And I think when I finished my third challenge, the Elite Challenge, that I did a side-by-side, I didn't even look like the same person. And I'm like, wow, I pull that out often just to show people this is possible. And look at the amount of time it took to get there. This isn't even 4 months yet.
Right.
And you know, that's mind-blowing, to lose an entire person off your gut. And I feel like I could float. When we did those farmer carries, man, I felt like I could float once I set those down.
Yep.
And, you know, it's just a mind-boggling feeling. It was, one thing I need to mention is once my lungs cleared up, and I started to breathe easy and sleep easy, going outside here, there's scents in the air that I just haven't seen or felt or smelled in Utah. What is that sweet smell? Everything's so green. You know, it cleaned out my lungs, and I'm just loving life, thinking, man, I've never known life could be so good.
Oh.
It's real. It's out there. Go get it.
And it's going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Matt. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, and thanks for coming out here and sharing your story and your success with everybody. And I know everybody's excited. They were all excited to meet you, and now they're all excited for you to join the team. And I know I am, and I'm excited to see where you are 6 months from now.
Oh, you know, it's been my pleasure to be here. I thank you for the invitation. You've been so hospitable, and, you know, taking the team out to lunch each day. And I want you to know I value that. and I appreciate what you've done for me. And to meet the team, the energy here and the vibe, it's all good. It builds you up and gives you wings.
It's by design.
Yeah. And, look at this behind me. There's reason for that being in the background, But I'm so grateful.
Good.
I'm so grateful.
Happy to hear it.
Where would I be if I had never looked you up on Instagram?
Probably a lot heavier.
Probably out of a job.
Yeah.
And
or in a casket.
Yeah, or in a casket. Yeah, that's for sure. No doubt about that. It was a matter of time.
Well, we're happy to have you here on this side of the dirt.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. All right, man. Well, thanks again for your story. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're inspired. I know I am. All right. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Violent Hippie Podcast. Remember, be kind or else.